The Marines had gathered on the dusty training field that morning, laughter ringing through the air as the sun climbed higher. Among the polished rifles and high-tech scopes, one weapon looked painfully out of place, an old, worn rifle painted a dull orange, chipped at the edges, and clutched tightly in the hands of a man whose presence most of them didn't understand. He was a single dad, a veteran, dressed in faded boots and a jacket that looked like it had seen better days. They laughed, not cruelly, but in the way young soldiers laugh at what they don't yet comprehend. He didn't flinch. He didn't even look up when the whispers spread. Instead, his hand brushed the rifle stock with a reverence that silenced something inside him. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a memory. A reminder of sleepless nights on the front lines, of brothers lost, of promises he made to his son when he came home broken but alive. That orange rifle wasn't bought, it was built. Every scratch told a story, every piece of tape and paint carried the mark of survival. To the Marines, it was a relic. To him, it was a lifeline. One of the younger Marines, bold with the arrogance of youth, joked loud enough for everyone to hear. "What's that supposed to be, old man? A toy gun? Maybe you brought it from your kid's play chest." Laughter followed, echoing like gunfire. The veteran only smiled faintly, adjusting his cap. He had faced worse than ridicule. He had faced silence in the dead of night, the kind that pressed down on your chest until you swore you could hear your own blood rushing in your ears. He had faced the weight of holding his son close, wondering if tomorrow he'd still have enough to feed him. Words. They couldn't cut him anymore. But fate has a way of demanding proof. That day, the general himself visited the range. He carried with him a calm presence, one that quieted the field the moment his boots touched the ground. He wanted to see excellence, to test precision, to measure the skill of those who claimed to defend their flag. A challenge was laid out. Hit a target so far downrange it looked like a dot against the horizon, 5,000 meters. The Marines adjusted their scopes, checked their rifles, whispered nervously. Even the bold one who had laughed earlier fell silent at the distance. It was nearly impossible. Then, almost casually, the general's eyes landed on the veteran with the orange rifle. "You," he said, his voice deep, commanding respect. "Step forward." A ripple of unease spread through the young Marines. Some smirked, others whispered, "No way. This guy's a joke." But the veteran walked forward slowly, every step carrying the weight of memories. He lay down on the dirt, his cheek pressing against the familiar wood of the orange rifle. For a moment, the world around him faded. He wasn't on a training field anymore. He was back in the sand, back in the silence, back in the place where one shot could mean the difference between living and never coming home. He inhaled, steady, calm. In that moment, he remembered his son's face. The boy's smile, the hope in his eyes, the promise that dad could do anything. His finger curled gently around the trigger, not with desperation, but with purpose. The crack of the shot split the air. Silence followed. Everyone held their breath as the spotter scanned the horizon. Seconds ticked by like hours until finally, impact. Direct hit. Perfect. The range erupted in disbelief. Marines who had laughed now stood frozen, mouths open. The young one who had mocked him dropped his head, shame flushing his face. And the general, he didn't smile. He didn't clap. He simply nodded once, slowly, as though confirming something he already suspected. Then he spoke words that echoed across the field. "Skill isn't in the shine of the weapon. It's in the heart of the one who carries it." The veteran rose, brushing dust from his knees. He didn't look for applause. He didn't need it. For him, the victory wasn't in proving the Marines wrong. It was in knowing that his son, somewhere waiting for him at home, would hear this story one day and believe that even when the world laughs at you, you keep standing, you keep trying, you keep believing. When he walked off the field, the laughter was gone. In its place was respect, deep, unspoken, and hard-earned. The Marines watched him with new eyes, realizing that strength isn't always dressed in medals or polished steel. Sometimes, it's carried quietly by those who have already given more than enough. So when you hear this story, don't just let it pass by. Remember that life will always test you. People will laugh, doubt, and dismiss you. But your worth is never defined by their judgment, it's proven by your persistence. If this veteran could silence doubt with one shot, then you, too, can rise above whatever challenges you face.